A voice reporting, the computer virus that triggered World War III in 2010. A computer virus was discovered infecting thousands of control systems operating factories, power plants, and even nuclear reactors around the world. This wasn't your average virus, this one was 20 times more advanced than any malware ever recorded. It had the capability to shut down oil pipelines, cripple water treatment plants, and collapse entire power grids. This virus was named Stuxnet, and we should all be concerned. Let's break down why. In January 2010, inspectors from the International Atomic Energy Agency visited the Natanz uranium enrichment plant in Iran. There, they noticed a disturbing trend. The centrifuges, critical for enriching uranium gas, were malfunctioning and tearing themselves apart, one after the other. Hundreds of centrifuges were failing, and nobody could explain why. Not the inspectors, not the Iranian technicians on site, and not even the engineers who had designed the system. At the same time, halfway across the globe, a computer security firm in Belarus received a peculiar request from a client in Iran. Their machines kept rebooting repeatedly, and not even wiping the hard drives or reinstalling the operating systems could solve the problem. Once again, no one could crack the mystery. But when the technicians dissected the operating systems, they uncovered something highly unusual, a new and strange virus. They named it Stuxnet. Stuxnet wasn't just a localized threat, it was rapidly spreading, infecting computers worldwide. Initially, these events seemed unrelated, but they were connected in a much more sinister way. Cybersecurity experts quickly realized that Stuxnet was no ordinary malware written by some hobbyist hacker. The first red flag was the size of the code. Most viruses clock in at around 10 to 20 kilobytes. Stuxnet, on the other hand, was 500 kilobytes, and when uncompressed, it expanded to a massive 1.2 megabytes. That's a huge file to go unnoticed. To test its behavior, analysts transferred Stuxnet to a clean, isolated computer. This wasn't some outdated laptop from the 90s, it was a state-of-the-art cybersecurity workstation with every possible protection. Yet, as soon as Stuxnet was copied onto the machine, it was instantly infected, without any user interaction and without triggering a single security alert. That's incredibly rare. Typically, when you install software, it needs to be digitally signed with a trusted certificate, verifying the software comes from a reliable source like Apple or Logitech. Many viruses try to tamper with the certificate to trick your computer into installing them, but antivirus programs usually catch this and send up a warning. However, Stuxnet didn't have altered certificates, it had valid ones. These certificates were stolen from two trusted companies, Jamicron and Realtek. These companies make a wide range of hardware drivers for hard drives, USB sticks, sound cards, and other devices. Chances are, you have their software on your computer right now. I know I do. When the creators of Stuxnet signed their files with these stolen certificates, they ensured Windows would quietly install the malware without raising any suspicion. If anyone looked at the certificate, they'd see it was legitimate. Stealing a valid digital signature is like robbing a bank vault hidden inside another vault. It's a heist at the highest level of security. And yet, it happened. Further analysis showed that once Stuxnet infected a computer, it began scanning for USB drives and other storage devices. Thanks to the stolen certificates, Windows permitted Stuxnet to do this without a hitch. What the experts had stumbled upon was one of the rarest and deadliest software vulnerabilities, a zero-day exploit. It's called a zero-day because when a flaw is unknown to the software developers, antivirus companies, and the public, there are 0 days to protect against it. Only the attacker knows about the vulnerability and can exploit it. Zero-day exploits are so valuable that they sell for hundreds of thousands of dollars on the dark web. But it's not a good idea to get involved in that game. Consider this, cybersecurity companies analyze more than 12 million viruses each year, yet they may only discover about a dozen zero-day exploits in that time. But Stuxnet? It contained 4 zero-day exploits. This was unprecedented. Eventually, it was revealed that Stuxnet wasn't after passwords or data. It was targeting Siemens Programmable Logic Controllers, PLCs, which are small computers used in factories and industrial operations to control everything, from assembly lines to water pumps and even nuclear reactors. PLCs are the backbone of critical infrastructure. Hack a PLC, and you could take down an entire country without firing a single shot. This terrified people because industrial facilities around the world were reporting that their PLCs were infected with Stuxnet. But the virus was just sitting there, doing nothing. No one knew when or how it would strike. Would power grids suddenly fail? Would water supplies stop flowing? It felt like a ticking time bomb. And it was. Although Stuxnet was spreading across the globe, it had one primary target: Iran. Specifically, the nuclear facility at Natanz. This wasn't a coincidence. A virus this advanced required millions of dollars, top-tier programming talent, and absolute secrecy to create. This was no amateur hack, it was a state-sponsored attack. The only entities capable of building a cyber weapon like Stuxnet are governments. The question is, which country was responsible? We know the answer, but they won't admit it. So, who made Stuxnet? Well, who has a vested interest in sabotaging Iran's nuclear program? Exactly. It was designed by intelligence agencies with the intent of setting back Iran's nuclear ambitions. Stuxnet wasn't just aggressive, it was stealthy. If the virus is on your computer, and you plug in a USB drive, boom, the drive is infected instantly. No need to click anything or open any files. Now, you take that infected USB and plug it into another computer on a different network. Boom, every machine on that network is compromised. And this is precisely what happened in Iran. The nuclear centrifuges at Natanz were air-gapped, meaning they weren't connected to the internet, a great way to keep a network secure. But air-gapped systems can still be infected by user error. Outside contractors working on the Iranian facility unknowingly brought Stuxnet into the network via infected USB drives. Once inside, Stuxnet targeted the Siemens PLCs controlling the uranium enrichment equipment. If the centrifuges spun too fast or too slow, they would destroy themselves. For 13 days, Stuxnet did nothing, just collecting data. But then it started subtly altering the speed of the centrifuges, sometimes speeding them up, other times slowing them down. Technicians should have noticed this, but Stuxnet was using the data it had gathered to report back that everything was fine. But everything was far from fine. With each speed fluctuation, the centrifuges weakened until they eventually tore themselves apart. Stuxnet even disrupted the power supply, causing some centrifuges to explode. And once the equipment began to fail, there was no stopping it. Even the emergency shutdown buttons were disabled. Stuxnet was a perfectly designed digital weapon. Over 1,000 centrifuges were destroyed, setting Iran's nuclear program back by months, if not years. But why was this attack carried out? To stop Iran's nuclear ambitions, plain and simple. The message was clear: Iran's nuclear capabilities had to be halted. And that's the main takeaway here. Subscribe and support the A Voice channel. Your support is highly appreciated.